right here, and it's a brilliant read. Loving every word of it. Before we get to talking more about that and the Spring Carnival, I've just got to clear something up in my head. You retired the day after you appeared on this show last year. Was it something we said?
It was all that good advice I got leading into the spring.
How has retirement been for you? You're missing eating lettuce in the sauna?
I'm missing the competition, being out there, being aggressive and get the blood boiling and attack, especially this time of the year, big races. But on the other side of the fence, loving it. Yeah, doing a bit of work for Ladbrokes and doing guest speaking, doing a bit of work for Group 1 in Melbourne and just getting around the race clubs, giving something back to what they give me.
And Jimmy, Jamaica won the Caulfield Cup on the weekend. You won that in 1997 with might and power, and you said that when you went through the finish line, you knew you were going to win the Melbourne Cup. Do you see any similarities? Do you think Jamaica can do that? Totally different era. Might and power, you could probably put Jamaica inside him as in size, 600 kilos. But look, she done nothing wrong on Saturday. The Turnbull run, when Hartnell blew her away, is always the best form for the Caulfield Cup, and like she ran second to Hartnell in the Turnbull, and she's blowing this lot away on Saturday. So, against the odds, they say she can't win the Melbourne Cup because of the weight, but I think she's fired in. I think she deserves to be a big chance of winning it.
Okay. Jimmy, in your book, you write about Kiwi winning the 83 Melbourne Cup, and I love watching that race. But did you honestly think, as you're coming around that final bend, that Kiwi could win? Or were you checking out some good-looking girls in the birdcage then? Or were you thinking about the supermarket shop? Because it's like the race caller, I think, Bent, doesn't call it right to the end. He doesn't see it.
Did you believe? He doesn't get into the end, yeah. Look, the whole plan was to be getting to them roughly at the clock tower, which you can see coming up very shortly. This is where we are. We had to be wound up there. To come from where he did was incredible. He won the Wellington Cup the same in that year prior to coming to Melbourne, and look, I was 20. I was confident that he could do it, and he was able to do it from last to first. Amazing.
Yeah. Jimmy, we talked about fast horses. What about slow ones? When you arrive back to scale and you think this horse is dead set hopeless, and you've got owners there looking at you expectantly, we've all done it. How do you break the news? Like, is there an art to it? Do you give it to them straight, or do you kiss and cuddle them?
You've got to give it to them straight, really, because they're wasting the money. But I did say to Ray Murray, prior to me retiring, with the horses I was getting, I didn't think were that competitive. So I did ask Ray one day, I said, can you please call the ambulance drivers in and ask them to slow down? I said, because I'm sick of them beating me home.
I like horses that do different things. Horses apparently have different personalities. Winx doesn't like people at all, I understand. Now, I don't know if you can check, this is a bit of a wayward horse. I don't know if it reminds you of anything you ride, because you had a horse called Cruising, which didn't mind embarrassing you a little bit. Look at this one. Surely should win even now, but... Whoa! Are there horses that are just contrary and do that sort of stuff?
Look, they've got a mind of themselves. I've seen a horse be in front with 50 metres to go and actually get on the running rail and go over it. Just another way to do your money as a punter.
Can I put you under the pump? Excuse the pun, I didn't mean to say that, but Hartnell or Winx this weekend?
I think Hartnell. Going to be a tough race. I'd love to see a bone crusher, our Waverley Star, finish again when they both take off at the 1,000 and make it head-to-head. But I just think his Turnbull win was so good. Jamaica's backed that up winning the Cup, and I think he's going to take a lot of beating.
And the Melbourne Cup?
I'm warming to one called Bondi Beach at the moment, one of Lloyd Williams' horses in Melbourne. Lloyd loves to buy them horses for the Cup. A year early last year. I think it'll run terrific this year.
And should Michelle Payne get a ride in the Melbourne Cup this year? She won in-stall earlier today.
I'd love to see her get a ride. I thought she was brilliant. I was honoured to be there. I'd been going to Flemington for 38 years. To be there and see her win the Cup was outstanding.
Jimmy, your book, on a serious note, was syndicated the other day when you were disqualified for 3 years, and it was quite brutal, your story, wasn't it? Taking the kids out of private schools, having to work in incredibly hot conditions, labouring. Like, it must have been a terribly stressful time of your life, was it?
Oh, look, it was hard. I suppose with the media, sad for racing that it was as big as it was, but thankfully there was no other charges laid. I was cleared of any criminal activity through that, and it was just the same that it made it so bad. But being 4'0", it was all right to get down on the cellar at Balmain's and do some tiling and things like that. It was different.
What was the toughest thing you did? The day where you thought, oh, I can't do this?
probably trying to drink 8 or 10 stubbies about 3 o'clock with the rest of the labourers.
Those jockey tapes, they also talked about, groups of jockeys maybe getting together to achieve a result, which, again, was not improved at all. Would they have done anything as silly as, I'm sure it didn't happen at the weekend, but I love this result at Gosford, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't that extraordinary?
That's amazing.
Some 14-year-old probably won $10,000.
Books, as I said, called Pumper, with the help of Andrew Webster,
Andrew
who was
Webster.
an absolute great writer.
Done a marvellous job, Webby.
Now, I understand that it was a journo who coined the term Pumper as a name about 1987.
Yes.
Now, I'd never known what Pump was for. I had a few ideas, I suppose, but I didn't know why it was. But it's about the method of riding, kind of the going up and down on the horse.
Method of riding, upper body strength, I call it, being able to lift them. I was lucky I was able to do that on a number of occasions. A lot of jockeys probably get a little bit high in the saddle. I was taught to get down low and lift and pump as such.
But how do you, apart from, going the whip, how do you get the maximum amount of speed out of this huge animal underneath you?
It all becomes being a passenger, try to be one, make yourself one with the horse. The lower you sit, the less air you're taking in, and being able to sit low and feel the power and use it at the right time. It's all timing and balance, coordination and trying to make yourself become one.
Jimmy, we see like YouTube videos of just racing being held in shocking conditions with birds and mist and mud. What was the worst? Is there one ride that sticks in your mind that was just shocking conditions to perform in?
I think the hardest one is visibility. When the tracks break up early in the day and you get a lot of rain, taking those goggles off and just having your eyes actually nearly bleeding with dirt, that's the hardest, visibility, seeing with the rain and the dirt coming back into your eyes. It's pretty
tough.
much impossible.
It's a very tough gig riding horse. This is just last week. I don't know if you saw this. I'm not sure that visibility was a problem for this jockey, but coming along, doing okay, but you can just see this isn't going to end well.
He gets over the line.
It does get
I don't know what's
right, Jim.
I look rough on a few, but I never look that rough.
I do love this book. I love the honesty of this book as well. I love all the great stories within it. But as you've said that, what things that go on with racing. As a punter over this period, lots of people who don't do it regularly will be throwing some cash at various horses. These days, can they expect each of those horses to be allowed to run at their maximum?
Oh, look, for sure. Look, the whole policing of racing now has gone to another level. There's more cameras. There's more integrity units being set up to minimise the innuendo that goes on in racing. But look, it's a very clean game. I've let a few cats out of the bag here, but as I said, I've done the crime, I've done the time.
Was it true that just at the end of your career, the last day, first bet, you went up to the TAB and you hit the jackpot? Is that true?
That's a true story, 100%. I invested $50. Chris Waller's wife, Stephanie, we had a little function on the last day when I retired, and I got Chris Waller to come up and speak. I said, Chris, you've got to give the family one winner. The last race was the Jim Cassidy Farewell. He goes, my horse will win the last race, Cortland's Power. So I've gone up to the tote, spent $50, stood out the sixth, took 3, 5, 10, 11 to run second, third and fourth. Sure enough, it wins. I was full of pen and ink during the day. I'm looking at the tote and I said to my wife, gee, darling, I've invested $50 and I've won $4,800. She goes, have another look, Jimbo. She said, it's $40,800 for a $50 outlay. I got the first 4. So the first thing I done was rung Ray Murray here. I said, quick, come and have a drink, pump, shout.
Pumper is the book. Jim Cassidy is our